Hello and welcome to Rewind Horror, I'm Wes, and today we're going to talk about Don't Breathe 2. In 2016, Sam Raimi said it was the greatest concept he'd ever heard for a sequel. The film is set to be released in August 2021 with Stephen Lang returning as Nordstrom, the blind psychopath. But now that the trailer has released, there's been a real mix of reactions, with many of them being very, very negative. 2016's Don't Breathe's original main characters are not traditionally heroes at all. The protagonists are actually breaking into the house of a seemingly defenseless blind old man. However, he turns out to be a violent kidnapper and sex offender who is very able to look after himself. At the end of the film, no justice is brought to Nordstrom, and he is seen as the victim of the home invasion in the media. In the trailer for Don't Breathe 2, Nordstrom is seen to have befriended a young woman and her daughter, possibly having groomed her, and is sort of training her to be a bit of a survivalist like himself. If you remember in the original film, Nordstrom lost a daughter, so he's actually trying to impregnate two of the women against their wills in the original one, which is why he's probably so defensive and protective of this little girl. He is seen protecting the girl violently against intruders who seem to be just as vicious as him, if not more so. The kidnappers clearly have a motivation based on knowledge of who Nordstrom is and what he's capable of.
It's not me you need to be scared of, little girl, but the man standing next to you. Now, I don't know who he is, but I know who he's not. Should I tell her or you?
I've seen many tweets and YouTube comments confused about if this is actually a sequel or how the hell they are making Nordstrom the good guys. Some people are saying they've simply refused to watch the film where the villain of the previous film is now the hero, and asking how can a rapist and kidnapper now be the hero of the story. Cinema can be more than black and white, good versus evil. It can have grey areas, it can have moral ambiguity, and can make you ask questions. So the fact that it's causing a conversation, I think, is a good thing. You haven't seen the film yet. Since recording this video, I've actually seen that Fede Álvarez, the producer and writer, has actually come out in response to some of these claims about him being the hero of the story. Interesting stories can exist in places you may not expect, like what happens to a psychopath after they've got away with a horrible crime and tries to live a normal life, which is what this film seems to be. From the trailer, Nordstrom seems to have found some sense of normality, has become friendly with this young girl and her mother, maybe inappropriately so, we just don't know yet. Now his past has caught up with him, and he's willing to protect this girl viciously from other vicious characters. That doesn't make him a good guy, doesn't make him the hero. No one is making you root for him, no one is making you like him. The truth of his history will probably come out in the film to those other characters, and they will probably judge him poorly because of that. Ultimately, how we feel as an audience will come down to how it all plays out as a whole, but I think it's incredibly silly to judge the entire film right now on the trailer alone, because we're deciding that the story is trying to tell us how to feel based on the trailer, and we're trying to say that the Nordstrom character is some sort of savior now, when we know he's flawed, and the trailer's not trying to hide that necessarily. We're basing it all on a 3-minute thing. Some people will obviously have a much more visceral reaction to this because they've had their own experiences of abuse, and I respect that. And in that case, then this film probably isn't for you, and maybe the first film isn't for you either. But if you enjoyed the first film and you're curious about the second film, hold judgment. But I think it's frustrating when people say, I don't want to see this because the trailer says he's a good guy now. It is very frustrating. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are you one of those people who are excited, or are you one of those people who just think this is a load of rubbish? Let me know what you think. Are you a fan of the first one? Do you think it's total cack? Anyway, let me know down in the comments. And also, what I want you to do today is let me know what was the last film that you saw. Regardless, any type of film, whether it was horror or not, let me know down in the comments below. And I'll let you know what the last film I saw was down in the comments below. And remember, if you like this video, to please give a like or a dislike, I don't mind. And I'll see you next time on the channel. Thanks very much. Please hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.